Okay, so I got a zit. Um, so crippling shyness, very natural. It's just that time in human history where we identify the issue and we get past it. That's all it is. It's human growth to grow past um, crippling shyness, and it's an issue. It's everywhere. 100% of society, multiverse, Earth, they have crippling shyness, right? It just got identified by me, all right? I've been studying this my whole life. How I've been studying it, what's my method, is that I study myself. So we all grow up with shyness, right? As you educate yourself, your brain grows, and you grow out of shyness. If you don't educate yourself, that's why when people are like, man, that person kind of dumb, because they are. They still have a child brain. They haven't educated themselves. Okay? Um so so it goes from crippling shyness to crippling depression, and then you make your way out of it. You need to continue to educate yourself. You don't stop and go, "Oh, it's the end of the world." Yes, you have crippling shyness. Yes, you have crippling depression, but you continue to move on. Try to get out of it. So there was no method in how to do this as a kid. So I had to create my own method. We all go through it. It's just someone needs to create something where we can all know what it is and then know how to get past it. Well, when I was growing up, there was no way of identifying it and even a way out of it. So I spent 18 years of my life on this research. All right. I was shy. Like I had crippling shyness, and I was basically clinically depressed most of the time. I struggled in school. I couldn't make friends. I couldn't talk to anyone. I didn't I remember thinking, why am I so shy? Why is it that my peers and my classmates are able to talk to each other so easily and I can't do it? So I've been researching this my whole life. I didn't really bother with friends. I'm just thinking about this, like, why am I so shy? Because if I can figure it out for me, I can figure it out for everyone. So I spent 18 years doing this, where I just skipped school. I didn't skip school, I just didn't take it seriously. Right? I took my research seriously, not school, because I already know how. Growing up, my parents like focused on education. I held a multiplication table around with me everywhere. Going to cousin's house, I had it with me. I know how to study, right? So that part was done. I know how to educate myself. This other part, the shyness, I didn't understand it. So I researched it for 18 years. And then when I was 19 and I submitted my Pacific admissions, I putting my self portrait in there is basically asking for help, asking for therapy. I'm asking these admissions officers, hey, what do you see? Because I don't know what I see. What do you see? So that you can help me out as a student. When I come into Pacific as a student, you would know what you're dealing with. Are you dealing with a shy kid? Are you dealing with depression? What are you dealing with? So I put my self portrait in there and say, hey, these are my actions. What do my actions show? What do you see? All right. So I'm helping them out. How you help yourself out is helping them know you. All right. So how you help yourself is help others know who you are. That's how you help yourself out. That's what I figured out. That's my method. How you help yourself is to get others to understand where you're coming from. That's the method I figured out to get out of crippling shyness and crippling depression, which is very natural. All right? Crippling shyness and crippling depression comes hand in hand. Through crippling shyness, you will get depressed. All right? It's very natural. It's not dangerous or anything. It's very natural. But how you get out of that is you tell people what you're going through. You do not keep it in. All right? Like my younger brother right now, he's going through depression. He won't talk about it. I'm like what's going through your mind? He's like, don't worry about it. I'm reading philosophy books and I'll figure it out myself. I can help you out. He won't open up. And the same with my older brother and my sisters. I'm like, hey, what are you going through these days? Just normal conversation. What are you going through? They're like, nah, you don't want to hear about that. Yes, I do. I just asked. So there's this mentality in this current generation where it's like, don't bother people with your problems. That's wrong. Very wrong. The first thing I did when I went to college was I bothered the admissions officers. Help me out. That's the first thing I did. And my paintings, when I was at Pacific, all cry for help. It was just paintings of tears and crying, and it looks like it's painful, whatever I'm going through. It's always a cry for help. So I'm always asking for help. I'm like, here are my paintings, professors. What do you see? Like, how can you help me? And the same with my peers. And Gina's like, hey, that's a lot of crying. Like, how about some more cheery paintings? I'm like, that's a good idea. I'm gonna try that. So my paintings got more cheerful. So that's what she saw. I was asking professors for help. I was asking my peers for help. And Gina was like, hey man, like you look like you're going through something. How about so I open up, right? Hey Gina, like I'm depressed. Like what do you see? Like how can you help me? And Gina's like, yeah, you do look depressed. Your paintings show that you look depressed. How about some cheerful paintings? Right? That's natural. That's a natural conversation. My little brother's like, nah, I don't need no help. I'll figure it out myself. What? You don't need no help? It's like been 5 years. What do you mean you don't need help? You don't need help breathing. Less than a second. 5 years of holding your breath? You need help. 5 years? So that's the thing with kids these days. They don't ask for help. You need to ask for help. They're really scared of it. Of course, right now there isn't really good methods. It's always like putting you on pills and stuff. I can see why they keep it to themselves, so I understand that. But there are other methods other than medicine. Like philosophy is one, but there's more, right? Like talking to each other, opening up to each other, asking for advice. That's my method. My method is opening up and asking for advice from anyone. It could be a homeless person, like, hey man, you've been through a lot. Like, can you help me out? Like, hey, don't go the road I took. Like, oh yeah, you know. So I've been working on that for 18 years, and I got a pretty good method of how to solve crippling shyness and crippling depression is to open up and ask for advice from anyone, everyone. So when I was younger, I was just so shy, and it's one of those blocks in your brain where it's like everyone's having fun but me, right? And it's like I don't know why. Why am I so shy, right? And what ADHD is the extreme aversion to talking about your shyness and your crippling depression, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. See that hyperness? I don't want to talk about it. Let's do something else, right? No, you should be when someone asks about how you're doing, how your mental health is, you need to be calm and go, okay, this is what I'm going through. That's the normal way to do it. If they're hyper and they're like, I don't want to talk about it, it means there's this extreme aversion from talking about their depression. You don't want that. That's the signal that says they're very depressed, which is very natural. They just need to be able to talk about it. So you don't want ADHD behavior. You don't want that. You want them to calmly sit down and talk about what they're going through, their mental state. So when I was younger, I was just like, man, I can't figure it out. It took me 18 years. 18, right? I would do odd stuff. We were playing this game in the gym, and I would run out, right? Just to get rid of my shyness, right? You're supposed to be called upon, your number is supposed to be called upon, but I would just run out there, right? You would have these weird actions to get rid of your shyness, right? So when I see extreme behaviors, extreme odd behaviors, I see it as someone's trying to get rid of their shyness. I gotta get rid of this, right? Here's a boy I like. I need to get rid of my shyness. I need to be someone he would like, right? Or, oh, there's a party over there and I need to be the most flamboyant to show that I'm not weird, right? So it's an issue, but it's natural as well, right? It's just like the dinosaurs die and then a new breed comes to life. So crippling shyness and crippling depression is just something of old, and it's about to die out. And we have a way to resolve that now, which is my method, which is to open up and to get advice from other people on how to deal with your crippling shyness and your crippling depression. It's just one of those things where children will go through it. There's no getting out of it. But we can deal with it early, right? You can find it in preschool. You can find it at an early age, and make sure they talk about their mental health early. Like, hey, how's your mental health today? How's your mental, as parents, as teachers, make sure you ask students and your children, hey, how's your mental health? Get them to open up early, right? Because once they go through their teenage and puberty, there's going to be a lot going on. They need to be able to talk about it, right? You need to be talking about how your voice gets deeper, you're growing breasts, you're having urges, your brain chemistry is changing. You need to be able to talk about it. You can't hold it in. Seeing there's anything else. So that's pretty much it. It's very natural. It's not dangerous, and you do grow out of it. It's not something that stays with you forever. It only stays for a long time because you don't know how to deal with it. You need an expert to deal with it. And I'm pretty much an expert by now because I've been studying it for 18 years. And um and I know to ask for help. That's my method. Know to ask for help. Um cuz a lot of kids these days, they won't do it. They see it as a weakness. They're afraid they might be put on medicine. They just won't do it. We need to tell them that's an old generation way of dealing with it. The new generation, the more cool way to handle mental health is to talk about it. Right? We need to market this as cool to talk about your mental health. Right? The kids only follow what's cool. Right? So right now everyone's cool by keeping it in. No. We need to say that's bad. That's very not cool. What's cool is to do what I did. To tell my Pacific admissions officers, to tell my professors, to tell my peers, hey, I'm going through something. Can you help me? Do you have any advice? That's cool. All right? That's cool. It's not cool to have ADHD and not talk about your depression. That's not cool. It's very cool to go to your parents and say, hey, I'm going through something. Hey, I'm very shy. Hey, I'm going through crippling depression. It's very cool to do that. That's the new way of doing it. It's very cool to do that. All right? So, yeah, that's pretty much it. We just need to teach kids that it is not cool to keep it in. It's hurting yourself. You're really hurting yourself. But it's very cool in the new way. It's very cool to open up, to ask for help, ask for advice. Very cool. All right? So do that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been studying it for 18 years, man. Like, I'm pretty much an expert. So that's what I've been doing for 18 years. I wasn't just, skipping school on purpose. I already had school locked down. I know how to do it. That's why I got out of Delta College in 1 year. It was pretty easy. I already know how to do school. It's just I took the 18 years to do my own research. So that's basically what I was doing for 18 years. I wasn't wasting my time. So yeah, that's basically it. Make sure you open up and ask for help and ask for advice about your crippling shyness and your crippling depression. We're trying to change the generation gap. From being very reserved about mental health to being very open about mental health. So that's the movement I'm trying to get going here. To get everyone, not just young people, young and old, to open up about mental health. Ask for help, ask for advice. You just feel better every time you do it. I felt better in my Pacific admissions. I felt a lot better after I asked for help. And Gina going, hey, like, yeah, you look like you're going through depression. How about changing up your style? So getting help from my peers. So every time I get help, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better to get that off my chest, to get that weight off me. So I'd highly, highly, highly advise people to open up about your mental health. Young and old. Young adults, young kids, young teens, to adults. Open up about your mental health. Ask for help, ask for advice.